The IKEA Business Network is now open for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Join for free today to get access to interior design services to help you make the most of your workspace, employee well-being benefits to help you and your people grow, and amazing discounts on travel, insurance, and IKEA purchases, deliveries, and more. Take your small business to the next level when you sign up for the IKEA Business Network for free today by searching IKEA Business Network.
This podcast brought to you by Ring. With Ring cameras, you can check on your pets to catch them in the act.
Izzy, drop that.
Or just keep them company.
Aw, I'll be home soon.
Make sure they're okay while you're away with Ring. Learn more at ring.com/pets.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about the S&P 500 dipping lower and possibly lower. We're going to talk about Gametime and what that means. And then we're going to talk a little bit about content marketing. Enjoy.
Side of a dream. I wanna live. I wanna love you a little longer. I was invincible many years ago when I was so much stronger.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the founder and CEO of Q Consolidated Limited. We focus on investing and creating businesses in media and entertainment, finance, investing and insurance, education and e-learning, art, music and the humanities, earth and human sustainability and advancement, and earth and space exploration and transportation. Our current businesses include 3T Warrior Academy, Q Financial, Age of Radio, and Merlin, to name a few. You can find me on all socials at Age of Jeremy, except on X, it is at Age of Jeremy Q, and on Facebook, it is Cesar Jeremy Quintanilla. There are links in the episode description below. If you are brand new to this podcast is all about the trials and tribulations that I go through to build my businesses, and I hope you can pick up some wisdom along the way. I also have guests that share their trials and tribulations, becoming content creators, and the adventures that they have gone through to become entrepreneurs. We will be releasing more of those soon. If you don't know what Age of Radio is a media company that we own, and we have many podcasts, and you can check them all out on our ageofradio.com website. We have converted it completely over from .org to .com. We have revamped the website, and it is just the minimal version that you are experiencing if you go to ageofradio.com. If you are interested in joining our podcast network, go on over to the hosting tab, click that, join the network. It's absolutely free, and I will set up some time to speak with you and set up some time to go over everything with you. And we will be doing a lot more content marketing around being a part of our podcast network on the Age of Radio company. And again, that goes hand in hand with what we're going to be talking about today, which of course is content. If you are open to business opportunities, I have one for you. Joining our Q Financial Insurance Agency team, or what I like to call our Q Financial Wealth Protection team. We are part of the Millionaire Warriors, and we help people protect their wealth utilizing index universal life insurance, term life insurance, and fixed index annuities. And if you are thinking, well, how does that actually help protect your wealth? Well, the great thing is that with these types of instruments, your principal is protection. So when the stock market goes up, the cash value in your life insurance policy goes up. And when the stock market goes down or has a negative year, you are protected from any losses because it's not directly invested in the market. So if you want to learn more about that, I have put my Q Financial email in the episode description. It's jeremy.quintanilla@qfinancialllc.com. If you would like to learn more about that and learn more about joining our wealth protection team, then go ahead and send me an email and just let me know. We'll be working on creating a form here shortly, but I want to get that information out to you right now because I am focused on building the world's largest insurance agency, independent insurance agency of brokers in the United States and in Canada. And I would love to have you be a part of my team. So go ahead and go to jeremy.quintanilla@qfinancialllc.com and send me an email and I will reach out to you. Now, if you're interested in for us doing a financial review, there is a link in the episode description to fill out a free financial consultation form. You will meet directly with me. I can go over your financial situation, whether it's for business, for accounting, bookkeeping, investing, insurance, trust building, whatever it is. You can go to that form, fill it out, and I'll reach out to you. Again, I've been doing this for many, many years, and I want to help as many people as I possibly can understand that they can create wealth and create freedom. First thing that I want to talk about is, again, the S&P 500. The stock market is rotating. The question is, where does it go next? This is from a Bloomberg article by Jesse Minton and Elena Papina. Again, there's going to be a link to this article in the episode description. That being said, you do have to have a Bloomberg subscription to get it. We don't have an affiliate with Bloomberg, but I recommend that you sign up for Bloomberg. I think it's about $40 a month if I'm thinking about it correctly. And essentially, you get access to all of their podcasts, all of their radio, all of their television. Like right now, I'm looking on the Bloomberg website. I see live TV. I can go there. I listen to their live TV in the mornings and in the afternoons when I'm working on stuff, so I can get a sense of what's going on in the markets. So it's a really great resource, and I encourage you to get it and spend time reading good financial articles. I think Bloomberg does a great job. So again, this is from Jesse Minton and Elena Papina. The violent stock market sell-off last week, triggered by fears that the Federal Reserve missed its chance to help a faltering U.S. economy, ended one rotation trade and may have started another, leaving investors guessing where equities go from here. After the Fed decided to hold rates steady on its two-day meeting that concluded last Wednesday, equities collapsed, even though Chair Jerome Powell seemed to signal that rate cuts could be coming as soon as the next meeting in September. The technology-heavy NASDAQ 100 index tumbled into a correction, and the S&P 500 index lost 3.2% in 2 days, its worst two-day stretch since March of 2023. Now, but not every sector paid a price. Yes, technology and consumer discretionary stocks took a beating, but utilities and real estate companies, which pay hefty dividends, are popular with income investors when the bond yields sink. And I think that that's going to be a flight to safety moving forward. Are consumer discretionary products, utility companies, and real estate. One of the places that I like to get my a bucket of or a basket of utilities is through iShares ETF. Now, I know inside of our Warrior Academy, a lot of us are skeptical about Larry Fink. Larry Fink owns a company called BlackRock. BlackRock is a company that owns the iShares. I've always been a fan of ETFs because ETFs or exchange traded funds allow you to buy into a sector of a marketplace. So for instance, you could go to the iShares Utilities ETF and you could buy that ETF and it owns a bunch of different utility stocks. Same thing with real estate. You can do that with ETFs. You can also do that through real estate investment trusts. I think consumer discretionary, utilities, and real estate are going to be a flight to safety right now, especially utilities and real estate because they usually pay really good dividends. One of the utilities companies that I buy on a regular basis is York Water Company. And so you can take that for what it's worth. This is free advice. York Water Company, I think, is poised to continue its growth. It's had some ups and downs throughout the year, but I think over in the long term, what York Water Company as a water utility company is doing is fantastic. But again, I also own a bunch of exchange traded funds or ETFs and real estate investment trusts as well. So make sure that you think about putting those in your portfolio. Reach out to your financial advisor. Once I fully have my Series 65 in hand, I would be more than happy to sit down with you and go over it as well. Until then, it's free investment advice and do with it what you may. So essentially, there's a quote here from looks like Eric Denton, president and managing director of Wealth Alliance. With rates set to fall on the back of a cooling jobs market, the rotation trade continues. But what stocks do you buy? Big tech doesn't need cuts because they have strong balance sheets and stretched valuations. Again, this is from Eric Denton. So the play is dividend payers because small companies hold more debt and aren't a sure bet. That move is already starting to take hold. Investors poured nearly $1 billion into real estate and utility sector U.S. exchange traded funds last week, compared with just $300 million into tech ETFs. And this is according to Bloomberg's intelligence data. So again, reach out to your financial advisor, see how your portfolio looks right now, and see if utilities, consumer discretionary goods, and real estate investment trusts would be a good place for you to move some of your current holdings or to move some of your future holdings to as well. And we'll be right back.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Before I go into our social media section, I wanted to mention that I think that the economy is due for a pullback, a really strong pullback, probably due for a recession. Our sentiment in the United States, though, as consumer sentiment, it's starting to fall and pull back. I think that if we do have a Trump presidency, I think some of that's going to change, and we're going to be able to continuously have good sentiment, move into more stocks, push more money into the stock market, and we'll see the stock market go up. But eventually it will implode on itself and the economy will come down. If we get a Kamala Harris administration or a liberal administration, I think that that's going to cause a lot more fears, and I think we'll get that pullback a lot sooner. But I do personally believe that we're set for a recession, and I think that that's going to come sometime in 2025 going into 2026. But again, it all just depends on how well we just keep making money and pushing money into the economy, and how well we can how long we can sustain that, because eventually we are going to have to somehow deflate the economy, or our dollar is going to just become completely worthless. All right, now on to Gametime. So if you don't know what Gametime is a newsletter that's by LinkedIn News, and I wanted to bring this to your attention just so you could make it a part of your everyday routine, or make it a part of your weekly routine, or if you are a business owner, maybe introduce it to your team, to your employees. If you are a entrepreneur or a career individual, utilizing this, I think, is really, really good. So there's a newsletter by LinkedIn News. It's called Gametime. You can get it on LinkedIn. Just type in Gametime newsletter. It's a weekly dive into LinkedIn games. LinkedIn has gone big into providing games and fun things to do for people when they take breaks from work, not only to bring people to their platform, but also to bring people to the ability to kind of zone out or to move their mind away from their work in a day. So a lot of the times we think that we can go for long stretches of time while working, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, but it's best to go about a 2-hour block, take a break. And one of the best things that you can do during that break is a game. And so Gametime not only provides like great news for you to do and pushes you to some of the games that LinkedIn News has, but it's a great thing for you just to kind of go and be on LinkedIn during that time. I think LinkedIn's a social media platform that's one of the most underutilized from non-business people. Not only is there great B2B sales that exist on LinkedIn, and which we're working on a strategy for that for Age of Radio, I try to push more and more to LinkedIn as much as possible from a business perspective, or what we have going on in our business, and then a little bit of my regular content that I do on Instagram and TikTok. And then I'm going to be focusing on doing some other stuff with LinkedIn in regards to more content that I want to create for educating people on their finances, which I think is a great place, because if career professionals are on here, they can watch it, they can see it, and that might be a good place for them to think, okay, well, I need to do something about that. And I don't know why I just keep saying career professionals. Anybody can be on LinkedIn. If you just have, most people that have jobs, they're on LinkedIn. But I think it's a platform that's underutilized for most people. And I think that we need to start giving it the attention that it deserves, because it has all kinds of great things available. One of the things that kind of caught my attention for Gametime is they had their first ever games. LinkedIn had its first ever games tournament and tips from some of the winners. So this is from that letter. I just kind of want to get you, I'm going to read it so you can kind of have a sense of what is going on. So essentially, the life cycle of creating a puzzle for publication is a strange one. You spend a good amount of time creating the puzzle. So a lot of these games are puzzle games. Then you send it to the world and you hope people enjoy it. That's the strange part. You see every part of the process except the most important one, when the puzzle is picked up by a solver and hopefully provides a satisfying solving moment. I was thinking about that earlier this week, the writer says, when I was watching a boardroom full of people on all their laptops around the table, working on Cross Climb he had written it just for them. So this is in a boardroom and they're sitting there playing a game. And I think what we're going to see in the future, and I want to be a part of this, and I want my businesses to be a part of this, we're going to see a much bigger push into game entertainment in everything that we do, because games provide so much value on so many levels that we forget about it. Whether that is from a social perspective where we're playing a game with someone, whether that's from a creative perspective or a puzzle solving perspective, and we're using different synapses in our brain to solve the actual puzzle for entertainment purposes, for enjoyment. And the more that we move forward with how important games are and we see things like this, we're going to get a lot more of games being played. This past Tuesday, this letter was written a few weeks ago, so this would have been this was written on July 27th, so the week before that. This past Tuesday, we at LinkedIn held their first ever games tournament in New York City. We, meaning LinkedIn, reached out to some of the best LinkedIn game solvers based in the city and invited them to their office to compete on a series of challenging custom written puzzles by Thomas Snyder, and he's one of the designers, designed to find the best of the best. The contestants came from all different backgrounds. There were teachers, programmers, people in finance, and even a DJ. The tournament round ran in 2 rounds. The first one was 1 pinpoint, 1 cross climb, 1 queens. Those are games that they have on LinkedIn. Was for all contestants who were scored by the total amount of time taken to complete all 3 puzzles. Contestants also incurred time penalties for incorrect pinpoint guesses or using hint or reveal or another puzzle. The 12 contestants with the best times moved on to the championship round, which consisted of 2 pinpoints, 2 cross climbs, including a longer than usual 8-rung puzzle, and 1 very difficult queens puzzle. After a tense final round, Chris Curo emerged as the champion with an adjusted time of 2 minutes and 57 seconds. For comparison, the next best time was 5 minutes and 8 seconds, and the personal time for the round was around 4 minutes. And the writer of this wrote most of the puzzles. In the aftermath of the tournament, I, meaning the writer of this, reached out to Chris and some of their finalists to get their take on LinkedIn games and their tips for the games of choice. So you can go here. I think Thomas Snyder wrote this. Let me see. Let me see who the writer is on this. It doesn't say who the writer is. I'm thinking it was Thomas Snyder who was the writer of this, who was also the creator of the games. But if you go to this article, it talks about all of the, it gives some tips on playing some of the games. And I think that it's a great way for you to integrate this into your business or this into your everyday. Now, as far as getting to the games, that I have not actually figured out. I keep seeing them every once in a while. But I've never actually gone on and played any. Okay. So if you go onto your main profile page, I'm on my main profile page. And so on my left, you have your, like, the stuff that you're kind of like involved in, your profile views, your post impressions. I also have Sales Navigator. I can't remember if me having Sales Navigator changes the outlook of the dashboard, but if you go to your main dashboard, the home on the right, you're going to see, like, I have LinkedIn news stories that come up so that I can read them or I can reshare them. And then after that, it says today's puzzle game. So there's Queens number 96, Pinpoint number 96, and Cross Climb number 96 are the 3 main games that they have. And so I'm not going to go into them right now. We can do that on another episode. But go ahead and go to LinkedIn.com, go to your home, see if you have the games, try Queens, try Pinpoint, try Cross Climb, integrate them into your business for your employees or as something fun that you can do together. And so I really recommend that you give it a shot, because I really think that not only is it going to be good for your brain and for you socializing with people if you're doing it in a social setting, but it's also a great way to kind of reset during the day, because again, we have so many responsibilities, we have so much stuff going on, and it's a good place for us to reset and for our employees to reset so we can all be more productive and efficient. In today's digital age, there's content everywhere. Content marketing has become a cornerstone of successful business, and I think we need to focus more on content marketing, and I guess content marketing that is really well done, I guess, or good, strong content marketing. And so if you don't know what content marketing is essentially you're listening to it right now. So I do this podcast roughly every week. I try to do a lo-fi a couple of times a month. And then once we get going in our interview podcast, they'll be coming out every other Friday and hopefully eventually every single Friday. But again, this is content for you. And during this content, not only does it hopefully provide you value, but what it also does is it lets you know about the things that I have going on and calls to action for you to say, join our business team or join our insurance team. You reach out to me, you sign up, and then we work together and you become part of the team, and then we sell life insurance and then we all make money together. And so content marketing is usually free. Sometimes there's paid content marketing, and it can be a podcast, it can be a blog, it can be a journal, it can be a newsletter, it can be all kinds of things. But essentially it's traditionally usually free content that is providing a separate value that is from a brand, and then from that content you organically get moved over to make purchases. And so everybody that is a business and everybody that is a brand should have some type of content marketing that's apart from maybe their main thing that they're doing. And so what I mean by that is, let's say you have a YouTube channel and a YouTube show. Maybe you supplement that with a free podcast that then pushes people over to the YouTube show. And the YouTube show is the main driver of the money, or vice versa. Maybe it's a podcast and you do that with YouTube. Right now, the way that people are consuming, it makes more sense for the video to be the main thing. But again, it just all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And so even if you're out there selling, maybe you have a medicinal marijuana plant. I don't know why I thought of that. Maybe I want to go smoke some weed. Maybe you have a car dealership. There is content that can be created or content that can exist that creates some type of thought, new thinking in your industry. So for example, one of the things that we do with Merlin is we have a think tank that creates newsletters to help provide new information about cryptocurrencies, and that goes out on Merlin. And that's a newsletter hopefully that we'll get from Merlin, and you'll sign up to that newsletter, you'll learn about Merlin, you'll come and buy Merlin, and then we'll grow our Merlin customer base. And that's a form of content marketing for our Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto app. And so why is content marketing important besides what I just said? Well, it really builds trust and credibility. So by consistently providing valuable content, you position your brand as a reliable source of information, hence the thing that I was talking about with Merlin and the think tank. This helps build trust with your audience, making them more likely to choose your products or services when they specifically need them. So in the case of the think tank, if I'm out there putting a think tank together, they're putting out content, you start watching that content, the content's good, you start trusting that content. And then when you think of a crypto tracker, you'll think, oh, Merlin is teaching me about all this stuff with crypto. Let me go get their crypto tracking app. And that's how content marketing works. And it usually works regularly, it works steady, but it's not like these big booms of like things that are working. It's just constantly this content that's going out. People are finding about it, they're trusting you, and then they're coming to you to buy. The second thing is increases visibility and reach. So quality content can improve your search engine rankings, making it easier for potential customers to find you online. Additionally, shareable content can spread across social media, increasing your brand's reach. So in the case of the Merlin situation, we have that linked to our LinkedIn newsletter. You'll find that newsletter. You'll see our main post. In that, those think tanks will push you over to our website. You'll go over to our website. You'll start learning about Merlin. You'll start seeing all the other stuff that we do with Merlin, like our Q&A live show on YouTube. You'll start learning about our X Spaces crypto updates that we do on X once a month. And so you'll start finding all these other things. And then that's how we created the reach and the visibility of our brand. And if you don't know what reach is, that's how many one pair of eyes sees your content. As opposed to impressions, it can be the same set of eyes that are seeing your content over and over. The third thing is it engages and retains customers. So engaging content keeps your audience interested in coming back for more. It also helps nurture relationships and existing customers and encourages repeat business and loyalty. So again, for example, let's say in the Merlin example, let's say someone was bought into Merlin, they end up leaving Merlin, but they're still linked into our LinkedIn and our newsletters and our other ecosystem and our community. Over time, that's going to come back to them because we're re-engaging them. Or what will happen is if they are really bought into all of it and engage with everything that we have going on, they're even less likely to even cancel in the first place. So those are some of the reasons why the content marketing is so important, and it helps you engage and retain those customers. The fourth thing that's really beneficial with that is it supports other marketing efforts. So content marketing complements other marketing strategies such as social media marketing, email marketing, and SEO. It provides the material needed to fuel these channels and drive results. So a lot of the times when you have content marketing, and we'll take our Merlin example, and then I'll do my Age of Jeremy example. With the Merlin example, all of that stuff that we make for our LinkedIn newsletter, our regular newsletter, our X Spaces, our Q&A, we take those pieces, we chop that stuff up into smaller bites, and then we push that out on social media, right? So then the idea is that people are spending more time on social media in shorter time span. They see these things, they engage in it, but then if it catches their attention, they'll go over to the longer form piece of it, and they'll start to be more bought into that. With, again, going through our process, they'll eventually get over and remember that we're the main thing that they need to have when they need a crypto tracker, and they'll come back to Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. So again, it supports all those other marketing efforts. And it can be utilized for content. So for Age of Jeremy, we take these go into a headliner.app, and Ruthie takes them, the ones that we have set up for auto, and we're working on getting more of those as we change some of the branding for them. And so it automatically takes some of the content, it finds some good pieces in it, it makes an audiogram, and then Ruthie will send this audiogram out. So if you go over to Age of Radioverse on Instagram right now, you'll see clips of the Age of Jeremy show and clips of all of our other podcasts, and that's all done with AI, and Ruthie then distributes them, who's a part of our accounts payable team and part of the team. She's mainly part of the accounts payable team, but I have her do the distribution also, because we're a small business. All right. The fifth thing is it generates leads and conversations. So by addressing the needs and pain points of your audience, content marketing can guide potential customers through the buyer's journey, ultimately leading to conversations and sales. So the more of the content that you consume and the more that you engage with it, it allows the brand or the individual like myself to engage with you, answer questions for you, converse with you, and then lead you over to, signing up for something else that I am doing, a business that we have, joining our insurance team, buying Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. So for example, in the Merlin Q&A, people will eventually ask questions. If they didn't watch it live, maybe they'll watch it later and ask questions. And that gives an opportunity for us at Merlin to go in and respond to some of those comments. And then that will allow us to engage the customer and try to drive them over to a purchase. And that's the reason why this content marketing is so important. So content marketing can be a super powerful tool. It can help your business or brand connect with the audience. It can build trust and drive growth. And so it's really important to create good, high quality content, or, and I don't necessarily think that it needs to be like high quality. I think it needs to be good content. So if you're finding value in the content and you're working on making the quality better over time, that's fine. The goal is to get the content out there, start the content moving along, and then make it better over time. One of the things that we're working on here at the Age of Jeremy brand specifically is I'm working on a newsletter for LinkedIn that's all around marketing specifically. As I've kind of gone deeper, and I'll touch more on this on one of the lo-fis when I record the next one, is that I've gone deeper into things that I'm really passionate about. The three things that I've been passionate about and kind of introspectively wanting to learn, not being introspective on it, thinking about it, is really music, right? That's going to be one of the most important things: music, audio, this type of stuff, media, marketing in general, and then finance. So that's really been the crux of my entire career, my entire life. And I really want to dive more with that marketing. And I think one of the things that'll be beneficial for me and beneficial for you is if we do a newsletter that's geared towards that. I have a name picked out. I'm just trying to figure out the timeline to run it because I do also want to create more of our YouTube content. And so as we grow, I'm working on building my own internal team to help me push all of this content out. And that's the reason why we've we've been able to move Age of Radio a lot faster because of the fact that I now have a team. When you have the ability to leverage employees or leverage workers or leverage partners and team members, I believe all team members should have profit sharing and some ownership of the business. That's my personal opinion, and that's never going to change. Is that going to be for all of my businesses? Of course not, because I have business partners and things of that nature. But when I can make it that way, that's what I want to do. But when you leverage those people, you can get a lot more done, a lot faster than you could otherwise. And it's one of the biggest things that entrepreneurs, I think, struggle with. The sooner that you can start getting more labor or more workers, and I know that might sound like a bad word, labor, but I'm just going to use that because that's the word, more labor and more team members, the further you can go with your business. So to recap that, the content marketing, come up with some content marketing strategies and plans. The benefits of it, it's going to build trust and credibility. It's going to increase visibility and reach. It's going to engage and retain customers. It's going to help support your other marketing efforts, and it's going to generate leads and conversions. And again, the other thing that's super important about content marketing is knowing what content marketing to do. Do something that you enjoy. The reason why I keep doing the podcast is for a couple of reasons. One, I love audio. I enjoy editing it. I like having these conversations. I like talking into the mic. So I like focusing on this. It's easier for me to do this on a more regular basis than maybe doing the YouTube, just because my room is horrible behind me. I don't have that great of a camera that I would like to have for it, and so forth. And I've just been doing the podcast for so long, and I think that we consume them a lot. They're better for consumption, in my opinion. And so I do that. I love newsletters and I love articles and blogs. So that's what I'm going to do. If you love doing the YouTube, and not saying that I don't love doing the YouTube, it's just I like these ones are the ones that I get really fired up to do. And so I keep focusing on them, and then we'll add the other ones in. But again, find one that you enjoy doing and then do that on a regular basis. Give it a year. I know that sounds like a long time, but it's really not. Give it a year on a regular, consistent basis. And if you're not doing it on a regular, consistent basis, don't pivot. Do it for that year on a regular, consistent basis. And when you master that, then you can start adding in other pieces of content. And that's one of the other reasons why I keep trying to do the podcast, is because I still struggle to get one out every single week. And until I can get one out every single week for a year, most of my time and my dedication is going to meet that specific goal. And so then you can reassess it, then you can look at it, and then you can start adding stuff in. And I'll probably still add stuff in, like the marketing newsletter. But the point is spend some good time on it, getting it pretty consistent before you move on to other stuff, if that makes sense. All right. So thank you so much for listening. And as I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind. Bye.
You were born in your dying, honey. I'm already crying for you. Let all my God.
Thank you so much for listening to The Age of Jeremy. If your podcast app allows you to rate the episode, please rate it with whatever you believe it deserves. Share it with more and more people so we can get it in front of more and more people, and subscribe to it so you get notified, and turn your notifications on so you get notified when a new episode drops. They usually drop every Tuesday, and then some other ones drop some other times, and then sometimes it's not on Tuesday, but we're working to continuously make that better and better. I'm recording into a Neumann microphone. I'm recording into my Zoom L8. I'm utilizing Steinberg's Cubase, and I'm using Waves plugins. The opening song was Positive Charge by the Gaslight Anthem. The closing song is Gardens by Trevor Hall. And one last time, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We'll talk with you soon, or next time. Bye.